Hi guys, my name is Ariba, a 15-year-old blockchain developer, and today I'll be talking to you about the dApp I built on Ethereum that mimics Patreon.
So this is a smart contract that I built for the dApp, and basically the starting contract is called Patreon Factory. Here we have the address, which is the public deployed Patreon, and the function here is create Patreon. So the function takes in title and description, and then it creates a new address, which is called new Patreon, which is basically composed of the title, description, and the message sender. This is important in Patreon because each person has a page. When they create a page, people can go and send donations to it. The four key components in a page on Patreon would be the contributors, so people, how much money is being put into the Patreon, how much people are in the Patreon, the creator of the Patreon, who the money is being sent to, the contributions, the description, and the title. So you can actually search for it on the app, and that's why we have title, description, and message sender here. And message sender is something that you can find in Solidity, which basically makes sure that a certain sender can only access or create a Patreon. So if you have create Patreon and I was to create a Patreon, it would take my address and store it in message sender. So moving forward, I'm the manager of the page, so I'm the only one who can actually like edit things in the actual Patreon. Deploy Patreon.push new Patreon basically just pushes it to an array so you can use it later. The second part of the contract is get deploy Patreon. Public view returns address, return deploy Patreon. Basically, this is just a function that grabs the deploy Patreon from deploy Patreon. The most important contract in this entire dApp is contract Patreon. And first of all, here I have defined address public manager, which is basically the manager of the actual page, not the contributors. Uint public contributors, and I just put it as uint. It's not like uint 16 or uint 256 because there wasn't a need for it. String Patreon title and Patreon description, where you would store the title and the description of the Patreon. The reason I haven't initialized it is because it caters to each and every person, so that you have to be able to input an actual string, like a title and a description, in order for other people to be able to use the same code. This function, Patreon, basically takes in a title, description, and creator to create a Patreon. And here we have manager equals creator. So the creator of the page automatically becomes the manager of the page, so nobody else is able to actually access the Patreon and take the money from it. This Patreon title equals title is basically taking this and assigning the factor, the the parameter that you have to sort of take in from the person who's actually like typing on the computer and like inserting a title, so that you can use it in the rest of the code. And the same thing is done with description. Function pay is basically just the pay part of the pay part of the Patreon, because you need a function to be able to pay, and require Solidity basically is just like you need to have this in order to actually run the function. So if the person inputting the pay does not have message value equals more than 0.1 ether, so you can't just pay like 0 ether to somebody, because then you will be put as a contributor, but you won't actually be paying anything, so that's not fair, and you will be able to receive special benefits other people have. So the message value has to be over 0.1 ether. And if this condition isn't met, then the entire code will not actually compile. And not the entire code, the function will not compile, and the contributors plus equals 1 just adds like a person to the contributor list. Function cash out is cash out means giving the cash to the person who owns the Patreon. So the message sender, the person who's inputting the value, has to be equal to the manager. Before we created the manager, and that person was set as the message sender. So if the message sender does not equal to the manager, like the addresses of the computer, then you're not allowed to actually access the function cash out. And manager transferred this balance. This is like pushes it to their balance. Function destroy public is requiring message sender equals manager, because this is another thing. This is an admin thing, so nobody can just come in randomly and destroy your code. And self-destruct manager means it just deletes the manager as well. Function get info public view returns. So here you return the Patreon title, the Patreon description, contributors, and managers, because when you're searching on Patreon, you can actually just search up somebody's name because it says like so and so is doing this and this in the title. So if you search up like doing arts and crafts, you'll have people who like do arts and crafts, and that's part of Patreon description. So once you search up, it'll return these things towards you on the screen so you can actually use Patreon. This is a pretty simple dApp so far, but if you built on this, you could actually create a mimic of Patreon on Ethereum. I hope you enjoyed this video and it was informative, and make sure to drop a like. Thank you. Have a nice day.